Hi, it's Josh Levine again from Zero to Piano. Welcome to your first theory lesson. This video is all about getting you oriented at the piano. We're going to talk about how the piano is laid out, and we're going to introduce you to the musical alphabet. First things first, a normal piano has 88 total keys, 52 white keys, 36 black keys. Some keyboards are truncated and have fewer keys, so if you're playing on one of those, don't worry, that's okay. Most of this lesson will still pertain to you. Let's begin by stating a few obvious facts. The keys are arranged in ascending order of pitch, with the lowest pitch note at the far left and the highest pitch note at the far right. When you play the piano, typically your left hand will occupy what we'll call the bass range of the piano, or the lower half, and your right hand will occupy what we might call the treble range of the piano, the higher half. If you've never heard these terms before, bass simply means low pitch, treble simply means high pitch. When you look at the piano, you will notice a repeating pattern of 3 and then 2 black notes. 3, 2, 3, 2, all the way up and down the keyboard. This is very important because until you can quickly identify the notes without thinking, this pattern will give you a visual reference point to orient yourself. Let's identify the first note of the musical alphabet, the letter A. Find a cluster of 3 black notes. Take the rightmost one and then move to the white key directly to its left. This is the letter A. Likewise, this is also the letter A. So is this one. So is this one. So is this one. And so is this one. There are actually 2 more A's on the piano, but they're out of frame in this direction and in this direction. As you move to the leftmost edge of the piano, we notice that there is one lonely black note all the way down to the bottom. It's not in a cluster of 2 or 3. But if the piano continued downward, it would be another cluster of 3, and the lonely black note would be the rightmost one of the bunch. So the white note to its left is an A, which is fitting since it's the very first note on the piano. Let's identify the rest of the letters in the musical alphabet. The letter directly to the right of A is, of course, B. Notice we skipped this one. We're going to come back to this one in a little bit. The letter to the right of B is, of course, C. To the right of C, we have D, naturally. To the right of D, we have E. To the right of E, we have F. And of course, to the right of F, we have G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we've come back to A. So the musical alphabet only has 7 letters, A through G. What about those black notes? Well, they have names too. When we talk about the black notes, we arrive at our first potential point of confusion. So let's look at the black note up and to the right of A. This note is called A sharp. In music, the word sharp means simply higher in pitch, and in the context of identifying notes, it means exactly one note above. It is denoted by this number sign. So we have sharp number sign, or like the pound symbol on your phone. So this note is A sharp because it's above and to the right of A. This note would be C sharp. This note above D would be D sharp. This note would be F sharp. And of course, this would be G sharp. Now, you may have asked, the word sharp means a note above. Is there a word that means a note below? The answer is, of course, yes, there is. It's the word flat. And flat is denoted by kind of an italicized lowercase b symbol. So we've identified this note here as A sharp because it's a note above A, but it's also the note below B. So it has another name. It is also B flat. Every one of these black notes has two possible names, a sharp name and a flat name. So C sharp is the same thing as D flat. D sharp is the same thing as E flat. F sharp, of course, the same as G flat. And last but not least, G sharp, of course, the same as A flat. Now, a really good question is there sometimes a situation where it's right to call it A sharp and wrong to call it B flat, or vice versa? The answer is, unfortunately, yes. There is a situation where that would be the case. Sometimes it is correct to use a sharp versus a flat, and the truth is that if you're dying of curiosity, please be patient because I will answer this question later in the program. It's just that right now, to give you a satisfying answer would require maybe a 20-minute explanation. So we're just going to gloss over it for now, and I promise I'll get to it in greater detail later in the program. Anyway, for now, it'll be good to think about these notes as both sharps and flats, and I'm going to refer to them interchangeably throughout the program. One last point. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the sustain pedal. On a real piano, there are actually 3 separate pedals, but on an electronic keyboard, typically you only have one. That pedal, like I said, is called the sustain pedal, and its basic function is to sustain notes. When I push a pedal down normally, when I push a note down normally, it chokes right as soon as I release the key. But if I keep the pedal down, then it sustains. On a real piano, this is the rightmost pedal. What happens is, on a real piano, when you push the sustain pedal down, the damping mechanism comes off of the strings, allowing them to vibrate freely. And as you release the pedal, the dampers come back down onto the strings, choking the sound. So if you push the pedal down and you play a bunch of notes in a row, what results is a nice wall of sound. All the notes vibrate freely, unobstructed, and as soon as I release the pedal, the sound stops. One more time. Of course, if I played the same sequence of notes with the pedal up, then each note would stop as soon as I release the key. Not as big. The piano is a great tool for making the piano sound big and strong. But if you use it wrong, like if you play a bunch of chords that sound dissonant together and you keep the pedal down, then the piano starts to sound kind of muddy. So for now, we're not going to really use the pedal very much. I'm going to revisit the pedal in detail much later in the course, but I just wanted to give you a basic overview of its function so that you had a general idea of why it was attached to the piano.